Good morning, everybody. Wednesday, October 28th. My name is Cale Casey. I'm one of the public information officers with Pacific Northwest Team 2. Welcome to day 2 of 7 of our live Breaking It Down session. This is where we're going to give you the operations update with Section Chief Kyle Cannon, who has a report out over the flyover of the fire yesterday. We also have an update from Larimer County Captain Joe Shellhammer, who will give us a structure loss count. The first release will be right now. And just a few quick notes. Thank you for all the questions that are coming in. We really appreciate that. Keep them coming. Our job is to serve you. We know that this is a patience game right now. The snow is melting slowly. That's in our favor. And also community meeting tonight, 7:30 p.m. So I'm going to bring Kyle Cannon up, and he's going to give you a walk around where the flyover yesterday. And here comes Kyle.
Yeah, good morning. Kyle Cannon, Operations with Pacific Northwest Team 2. So yesterday, our first day on the fire, we had a good day, good foundation going. We were able to get quite a bit of assessment on the road conditions. Pretty variable. We were able to get pretty decent access into the East Troublesome Thompson Zone in here in Zulu and Whiskey with good access in there, and also into X-ray. But Yankee and around into Uniform Tango Country was all pretty difficult access, pretty soft and wet and unstable road conditions in there. As Cale mentioned, we did get a flyover yesterday. We had some good conditions for flying, and we did take a good look at the fire. The snow is doing a lot of really good work for us. Things are looking really good out there as compared to, let's say, last week at this time. That said, we did identify some areas of light smoke that still show some areas that have some heat out there. One is around in here around Cedar Park. There's a little light puffer in that area. We also identified some smoke here in the slop over the North Fork Trail, so a little bit of light heat in there. We also had some smoke in the Thompson Zone on the west side down in here, and then the largest smoke, which again is pretty light white smoke, was out here in Pingree Park. But also we had a report from a local that there was 27 inches of snow in that area as well. So overall, I would say the snow is doing us a lot of good work, and we're going to try to get in there as soon as we can. We're working with plows today. The plan is to get more plowing done, get ourselves in there and really assess those hot areas and those areas of concern that were identified when we showed up a couple days ago. In here, these areas, as well as down in here in Pingree. So as soon as we can get in there and focus on that, we will. I think the other thing to mention is that in Estes Park, or west of Estes Park here in the Thompson Zone, we identified some options yesterday that we think once the snow comes off and we can safely do that, our plan is to get in and assess and hopefully go as direct as possible and try to tie that in as soon as we can.
Okay, great. Quick question we get often, Kyle, is will the fire be moving in the anytime near future?
So thanks, Cale. So, as long as there's snow on the ground, it's pretty unlikely that there be any significant fire movement. We'll see those little heat signatures of light, puffy white smoke in places. I assume as it dries, as Cale mentioned, if we continue to have this slow melting process, that will be good for us because that will allow the fuels to soak up more of that moisture as it melts, and that will actually do us good. The areas where we did see heat, just to mention, weren't where the fire burned really hot and really intensely, and there's no canopy left in the trees. Where we did see smoke is that edge piece where the fire burned less hot when it was burning, and it has needles and a canopy over it, so that kind of protects the fuels from the snow reaching them, which is bad for us at this point, right? So it's good to have the trees out there that didn't die, but then again, that's where that's holding heat along that edge, in particular where there was that change in fire behavior when it was burning. So as long as there's snow on the ground, we're in really good shape. We're hoping that snow will continue to do its good work. We'll be ready as things dry and the snow level rises up to get in there and look at those places and get them secured.
Okay, great. Thanks, Kyle. And I'm going to go ahead and bring in now Captain Joe, who's going to give us the update. And I know, Captain Joe, there are a lot of folks in all the residential areas who are still evacuated, especially Cedar Point, Storm Mountain, the Retreat, Glen Haven, the Monument Gulch area, Mason Gulch. Everybody wants that update about the evacuation levels, and Joe's our man to do it. Thanks, Joe.
Good morning, Joe Shellhammer, Captain Larimer County Sheriff's Office. I've been the agency administrator on this fire since day one. Been engaged, 75 days now. So I got a pretty good working knowledge on what's going on the evacs and the damage assessments. So our damage assessment team's got a lot of good work done yesterday in pretty tough conditions. They finished up Cedar Park, Storm Mountain, and the Retreat, and then in the top of Glen Haven also. The only spot that they did not get to work is inside Rocky Mountain National Park. Rocky Mountain National Park is going to take care of those damage assessments, and they'll handle that. So where are we at? We're at about 442 destroyed structures. 122 of those are either cabins or residents. Devastating information.
122 or 200?
222. Sorry, Kale. 222 homes and cabins destroyed. A lot of resources out there. We are really keyed in on recovery and getting folks back to where they were the day they left their home or cabin. A lot of that information is at the Joint Information Center. Call them up; they'll get you directed the way you need to go. So we have teams going in, taking residents into Crystal Mountain today to take a look at their properties and do some assessments up there and see how we can help them with the properties that are damaged or the properties that are destroyed. So that's getting taken care of by our initial attack module today. So let's talk about evacuations. I know this has been a long road, and some people have been out of their homes for a very, very long time. We have conversations about it multiple times a day, every morning, every night, and trying to make the best decision with the information that's out there. Now, I see that you look to the west and you see heavy snow, and you're like, hey, how come we can't get back in here? Well, these two fires, these two animals are not dead yet, and I need to make sure that we're making the safest decisions and not getting people back in and then have to pull the trigger and pull them right back out again. So some of the conversations that are going to happen today, obviously the Paradise Park, the west side of Stowe Prairie, Lower Buckhorn, County Road 27, going to have those conversations. We're pretty close to pulling the trigger, and in the next couple of days I see some changes there. Another big conversation we're going to have today is the Pingree Park Road, Monument Gulch, Poudre Springs, Upper Buckhorn, Middle Buckhorn, and trying to work through, okay, is it safe to get people back in there, and making sure those roads are plowed and that you can get back in there safely and be able to get back out there. Some of the problems with Poudre Springs and Upper Buckhorn is making sure you have 911 capabilities in case you get in there and you have some situations and you need help, then make sure that we can get that to you, and then you have the ability to make those calls. The other big problem we have on a lot of these places, like Stringtown Gulch, Moon Dance, and Windsong, is the fire came through there super hard and fast, so it leaves a lot of dead trees, and every time the wind blows and every time we go back up there's more trees across the road. So we don't want to get you in there and then you get to your house and then at 8 o'clock at night you're trying to get out and you can't get out because of all the trees. So there's a lot of considerations, and my heart goes out to everyone that's been displaced or has lost property. Man, I think about it every day. I live through High Park. My neighborhood got completely destroyed in High Park. But one thing I can tell you, we are going to recover from this. We're going to recover strong, and we're going to come out of this way better than we were before. Some other good news that I have is the animal evacuation center here at the ranch. Man, that's going super well. All those animals are inside, they're in stalls. The amount of volunteers that we have coming out is just way too many, which is a fantastic problem to have. CSU Vet Hospital are sending vets out every morning and every afternoon to check on every single animal, and the amount of care and love that everything from alpacas to chickens to horses to Clydesdales to everything, getting tons of attention over there. Another super good news story. When I left the other night, we had a certain count of animals, and I came back the next morning. It was gone for 5 hours, and we were up by one. And I said, "Hey, where'd the one come from?" They said, "Well, one of our sheep had a baby lamb that was born in the middle of the night." So one of those really good stories about how things are going over there. So if your animals are over there, boy, they're getting tons of love and attention, and they're inside, and it's warm. And the amount of people that have donated alfalfa and hay. Somebody said a tractor trailer came in just full of supplies. Just amazing stuff. So I know tough times. I know patients are at a minimum. We're trying to do the best we can, and I'm considering every home and how we can get people back in at the soonest possible moment safely and under the best conditions that I possibly can.
Captain, I just want to, we've got a number of questions dealing with specific areas. The retreat, Storm Mountain, Fall River Estates, Moraine Park Cabins, West Creek Road, and Glen Haven. Obviously, people are wondering about specifics. How will that come out?
Okay, so today I have a meeting with Estes Park Fire Department, Estes Park Police Department, some folks from Rocky Mountain National Park to discuss fire behavior, discuss what the team discovered while they were on the ground yesterday, some other ground truthing information, and to figure out exactly who we can get back in and who we can't get back in. Obviously, you heard the operational briefing. We still have some decent fire or decent heat up above Glen Haven, and we still have some heat above Cedar Park, which concerns me. We've been trying to get folks in the Storm Mountain, the retreat, Bulwark Ridge, trying to get them in there if they need to winterize or grab stuff. I do not feel 100% comfortable with getting people in there and letting them stay and saying that, hey, it's safe to stay in there. I don't think that's the safest spot right now till we get a better handle on those things. Moraine Park, that was the last place where we were fighting fire. So that's still pretty hot in there. Steep Mountain up behind the YMCA, man, there's still some heat up in there. I took a look at it yesterday, and it's a bizarre thing. It's like a Twilight Zone episode when it's 9 degrees and you got 15 inches of snow and you're still seeing smoke. We got to work through those things, get this team a chance to get on the ground and do some effective work, and to make sure that we're making the right decisions, getting people back in there. The places like Pingree Park, where there hasn't been fire for a while, we have some fire down by the CSU campus that concerns me, and then I talked about not having phone coverage up there and trying to figure out some ways to get 911 capabilities up there and have people have access in case they get in a situation where they need help.
Great, thanks. Captain Joe, can you speak about Masonville real quick? A lot of questions from the Masonville folks.
Yes, so County Road 27, Stringtown Gulch, Bears Lair, we're pretty close. We're gonna have a discussion here at 9 o'clock today about changing some things. If you have concerns about your house and that you need to do some winterizing or pick some stuff up, go to the roadblock, and as well as if things are safe enough, we're going to get you in there. We've got a lot of people in yesterday, and we're getting a lot of people in today. We will side on trying to get you in the best we can. Certain areas are just super difficult to get in. That's why the Crystal Mountain folks that we have tons of resources going in with them today, just because of the trees falling. And if you ever been up there, roads are tough in the summertime, and you get up there after a fire, after the devastation, and after snow. We don't want people getting stuck or hurt or sliding off the road and causing more grief and anxiety.
Okay, great. Anything else, Mike? Okay,
Thank you.
Joe. Okay, great. That was an excellent presentation. We really appreciate Larimer County Sheriff's Office being here this morning. They're here all throughout the day, and they're also going to be hopefully presenting tonight at the community meeting. The reason why we've added this live feed for you for these 7 days especially is that obviously this was a massively traumatic event. Everybody's still evacuating concern, and we wanted to have more going on than just telling you that there's snow on the fire, because right now I live in Alaska for 3 years, like I mentioned yesterday. We get rain and weird weather in Alaska all the time that messes our summer firefighting up, where we have to wait 3 and 4 and 5 days for things to dry a bit, get the crews not getting hypothermia even in 40 and 50 degree weather up there, so they can get back out and work. We're kind of used to this. You're not. You'd like to see the work being done every second, every minute. So rather than being able to tell you that we have crews right on the 17 inches of snow digging underneath that to find heat, we're doing more subject matter expert stuff. And that way we can make sure that you're getting what you need. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong camera there, and Mike's got me at the right camera now. Key points, we're gonna put the flyover video on YouTube. We put one of the B-roll clips we call B-roll. That's a non-narrated, just straight shot of what people saw when they were flying yesterday. We're about to put about 4 or 5 more up there. So for those of you who really appreciate that kind of B-roll, it's not going to have tons of explanation of what you're looking at. When I can get those notes in there, I will, but we just want to let you see what they're seeing, because we do have a temporary flight restriction around this fire. You are not allowed to fly a drone or any type of civilian aircraft around our fire area. The helicopters were flying yesterday because obviously we have the footage. They were also going to look at our repeater, our radio communication, solar panels, batteries, and antennas. And the way we talk around this whole fire, member firefighters only engage when we have lookouts, communications, escape routes, and safety zones for the communications part. It's a big network of mountaintop linked repeater systems so that when division wants to call somebody over on the other side of the fire and say, hey, we have an issue, that everybody can talk. If we need to call in a helicopter, if we need to call in additional crews, we have to have those communication links. Today, they'll be able to get more of the batteries replaced. The solar panels have ice on them. They identified that yesterday. Today, they get those all scraped off and get those rebuilt. So we have our communication link going fully back into place, hopefully by the end of today, tomorrow at the latest. And then that B-roll video that you'll see on YouTube will also show you just what a vast blanket of smoke. When you fly it and you come over some of the areas, you'll just see little tiny wisps with a sea of white. And it's sometimes, I talked to the ops guys this morning, it's sometimes hard to actually even identify the fire's edge unless it was a really hot, clean burn where you have standing trees and a white meadow. Also, we want to make sure that you know that it's not just the Facebook Live that you can communicate with us. You know, we have the phone line here. We also have the Joint Information Center, and that's where you want to get that evacuation update from. Our phone line is for fire status, which right now is kind of in that hard truth of a go slow to go fast, to get in there as we can, and that's the hard truth, right? So for the next few days, we have a couple really good things. The slow warm is a good thing for the fuels as the moisture goes in them. It's a hard thing for mission-driven firefighters who want to serve you and get black on these areas around Estes and put that out of place so we don't have to be worrying about that going into November and December, and get areas worked on in the Cedar Point and the different areas. When it's just, having been on the line for about 600 days in my first 7 years, I know what those firefighters feel. They want to be doing work for you. They want to be out there. Right now, the blibbits, the big pumpkins that we use to dip water out of and run hose lays, have about 18 inches or however much of ice in them. It was minus 7 to 10 degrees up in the area where we were actively fighting fire for those 3 or 4 days. Colorado had the record cold for this time of year during that snow event. So if you're watching from around the world and don't necessarily live right here in Colorado, this wasn't just a fall storm. This was a record cold fall storm. And for our business, where hose and pumps and helicopters and engines and the crews that support all that to make that all work on the ground, that real hard cold slows us down. That's just how it is. So we're still in that go slow to go fast mode. Mike, any more questions?
Just one question about air attack, and when does air attack come into play?
Great. Great question. So, hey, and the timing of this flying over the ranch here. So let's just be real clear about our aviation platforms. We have our air attack supervisor who can monitor more of the aviation activities when we're actively engaged with suppression. So when we have helicopters with buckets dropping water in different places or retardant from the mobile retardant bases, air attack monitors that. Air attack also monitors when we have active fire on the ground and when we're working with each division supervisor's needs for air support. And right now, we don't need air attack flying around the fire. We need our operations chiefs and branch directors who make the tactical, strategical decisions, and that's what happened yesterday. We call that HELCO sometimes, to be breaking down the fire terminology. There's air attack is in a fixed-wing airplane, and HELCO is a specialist in a helicopter who would provide that area supervision. We do have a very large amount of helicopters here. We got them all safely protected during the winter storm. We have 4 or 5 Type 1 heavy helicopters, 2 or 3 medium helicopters, and 2 or 3 light helicopters. That's a lot of helicopters on standby. In fact, for the region of Colorado, we have the most helicopters, of course, because the region, the forest, the Park Service, everybody working together in this mutual cooperation with the Sheriff's Office, we know that though this won't move anytime soon, we're going to hold on to resources so we can take suppression action when and if the time is right. Yeah, Mike?
Well, that's it.
Okay, great. We're going to close out here. We'll see you tonight at 7:30 at the community meeting. Again, thanks for Neighbors Helping Neighbors. You're part of our Green Pants Nation, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.